Welcome back to Northport High School Culinary Bobcats. Chef Magliacane here, and we're going to continue working on making our smoked fish dip. We have our beautiful smoked mackerel fillet that we made yesterday. I caught two gorgeous Spanish mackerel at South Jetties yesterday, just before they closed the beaches this morning. We brought the fish home, we filleted it up like I showed you. We took the fillets and we soaked them in a brine for about an hour. That's a solution of water, salt, and sugar. We pulled the fillets out and we air dried them for about 2 hours. And then we loaded them into the electric smoker with peach and mesquite wood chips, and it was in the smoke for about 2 hours. And this is our final product. You'll notice it's really, really firm. It's nice and caramelized on the outside, and the fish is holding together. A lot of these ends are really chewy. The fish is delicious, just like this. You can also take chunks of this fish and serve it very much like we did the caviar, with sour cream and very finely minced onion. Is excellent on a cracker. But today we're going to make a fish dip, and along with that we're going to make homemade pita chips and serve it along with some fresh celery also. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is break our fish fillet up and remove the bones and the skin. I started doing that here. I have a bunch of smoked mackerel that I've already broken up into the bowl. I'm just going to show you with the final fillet how to get that done. There is skin on this fish still. Some of it has come off. Like I mentioned before, the skin on mackerel is very, very soft. So in the cooking, it's almost sort of disintegrates. We are going to peel that off. If we got some skin into the smoked fish dip, it wouldn't be a very big deal. It tastes just fine. It just doesn't look wonderful in there. So it's more of an aesthetic thing. The bones are a little bit more important, but also with the Spanish mackerel, the bones are very, very thin. They're very, very soft. We're going to try, of course, to get them all out of there, but even if they end up in there, they're not a really bad physical contaminant. You really can just chew them right up. It's not that big of a deal. But we're going to do our best to get the bones out, and there really aren't a lot of bones in here anyway. Where most of the bones lie is right along this center line, or what they call the bloodline of the fish. So we're actually going to separate the fish at that point and try to keep the bloodline more or less attached to the skin. And that will take most of those bones right along with it. Now you notice, obviously, I am using my bare hands here, and this is going to be a ready-to-eat food. So if we were in the kitchen, if we were at school, we would be using our latex gloves, our single-use gloves. In this case, I don't actually have any, and I'm preparing this food for my family, and I've washed my hands thoroughly, so I think we're in good shape. So you see, I just pulled the chunk off there. I'm going to take a small fork and I'm just going to run along that edge where the bloodline was and see if I can get any bones, if any bones are left behind. And they are. We see them right there. And they are very small. They are hard to pick up on, but it's important that we try to get as many of them out of there as possible. On the other side of the fish, we want to peel the skin off. We really have to use our hands to this. In a lot of cases, the skin is really fused to the flesh of the fish, and it doesn't want to really come off of there. Again, this would be fine if we put it in our dip. It just doesn't look really nice. And then what we want to do is just start breaking it up. And there are areas that might have little bones, and we want to watch out for that. We don't want to shred it up into a million little pieces because we want some nice chunks in there. We want a lot of these nice chewy pieces to stay intact because they're a really nice texture. And that's where a lot of that sugar is rested, so they're very sweet and chewy. And we're just going to continue pulling meat back away from the bloodline and away from the skin and breaking it up into the bowl. And it should only take us a couple of minutes per fillet. And I did do a lot of this ahead of time. Again, you absolutely have to use your hands to do this, folks. All right. I've got all the meat off of the fillet. I am going to get rid of this plate. I'm going to wash up the cutting board and wash up my hands, and I'll be back with you in just a moment.